This quick video, you gotta be careful because I don't want to be banned. Still fighting my cold, but I'm feeling a lot better. So it begins. The us versus them, like in the movie, they live. We are seen as the aliens because you are an alien. We're in this world, but not of it. The Lord sent us that message, and we have to live in this world. And we're the ones that tend not to, I'm going to use the key word, that the ones that don't want to get the jabba-jabba-roo of the pharmaceutical, sorry, God, I can't pronounce, sorry, pharmaceutica, right? You know what I'm talking about. The special juice, the Kool-Aid. We don't want to get Kool-Aid injected into our bodies. We don't want Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid, remember, like Jim, what was the name that the Kool-Aid drinkers? We're not going to drink the Kool-Aid. Jim Jones, I believe. Was it Jim Jones? So here, I'm sorry, I'm tired, but I'm going to show you something that's really kind of disturbing. But I don't care. It doesn't damage my faith. The more the chaos you feed me, the more that I get order with God, Lord, the angels, the good. See, order out of chaos. They want to do it by their way, the wrong way, their order out of chaos. But the more chaos, it strengthens my faith. Raleigh just said, Kirk, the weirder this gets, that means the stronger we become. And he's right. You're going to spiritually order out of this chaos. Because it tells us we're on the right page. We're with the love of God. And we are with our Creator. And that's what is making a difference, right? Okay. It says, the unvaccinated to pay more out of pocket on the new COVID policies. Oh, I didn't see this back in February. I don't know if you saw this. Ooh. It said, you can read it here, that as it becomes part of the regular life, so those things are going to start hitting people. It says, it has custom insurance already to begin charging payments, copays, deductibles, for COVID care that they waived at the beginning of the pandemic. Well, where's it? Oh, geez, where is it? Somewhere, well, gosh, is this the right article? It said that ones that are not vaccinated, that do not do this, will have to pay a higher copay. Oh, there it is. No, it says could. Well, okay. I thought this, but it's coming. They can't deny you, but it doesn't mean they can't charge you more. Wait, it says they can't, wait, maybe I'm wrong here. Oh, short-term plans, they could. Well, okay, so maybe I'm wrong this one. Okay, well, anyway, so, oh, yeah, but your employer can, though. Shoot, I think so. Okay, well, let's not get into there. Let's not get an argument of what is and isn't. It's a push. No matter what, bringing it up is an effort to do this. Now, because, this might prevent you from being hired. Because here's the thing is, some companies are already like, oh my gosh, some companies are ready that if you're a smoker, they charge you higher premium in your employment status. And some will require you to take tests to see whether you've been using nicotine or not. Also, it was it Scott's? Yeah, the Scott's fertilizer company, that they charge higher premium if you're a smoker or not. And this is a company who has employees dealing with poisons every day, the fertilizers. So we said, well, that's kind of ironic, hypocrisy, that employees are exposed to your fertilizers, your poisons, but then you want to charge them a higher premium. And then they changed the policy. That was their first initial move. I remember this was years ago. They were talking like 10 years ago. And then 2 years later, they said they won't even hire you. They said that it was trying to keep the cost of the company down, but not have to pay higher premiums on the health insurance. So then they finally just said, we won't hire you if you smoke. And I don't know If that still holds or not, I don't know. But that was a huge, it was horrible how they just went back and forth. So what I'm saying is they'll use the same philosophy to say, well, if you haven't been yabba jabba rude, then you will not be hired. Okay? The one that blew my mind, though, 3 days ago. This is all over, and you can get, it's major news. Anyway, this whatever, you can look this up. It said unvaccinated drivers could pay more for insurance as study finds higher crash risk. You got to be kidding me! Joyce said, if you are not vaccinated, you are considered a higher risk driving. Oh, really? Really? I don't want to say too much about that because I don't want to get banned. I would say that's kind of upside down. Because I can't say it. I'm trying to figure out how to not get in trouble on what I'm going to say. That there are claims that if you, I'm going to say claims, so I'm in trouble here, that if you do get the jabba jabberoo, that a risk is of you having seizures, blood clots in your brain. I had a guy who did have a extra shot, and I'm trying to, and so you're like, why are you talking so weird and slow? I'm trying to use the right words. I'm tired. I don't want to get banned here. He ends up in the hospital in Flagstaff. The blood clot between his heart and his lungs almost died. It's known to cause a risk as blood clots. I have to say risk because risk puts it in their own terms and words and side effects. Almost died. Talked to many people. I've talked to probably 10 different groups of people that somebody didn't know, strangers. They told me out of the blue. There was 5 guys on the beach up here. 4 of them ended up in the hospital the next day after getting some jabba jabberoo gum and damn near died. One arm says arm swelled 3 times its normal size, almost crazy. Well, he said about two times actually, but forgive me. But anyway, it says here that findings from a study published in the American Journal of Medicine that, in this, of course, Canada, that they said that there is a higher incidence of unvaccinated. Wait, so what? Oh, this period there were 6,082 crashes requiring hospital care. Just 60% of the group was unvaccinated, yet 20% of the crashes involved unvaccinated individuals. Yeah, right. Bullshit. Also, maybe because they're the only ones driving. Right? Higher numbers were driving. Not locking themselves in their house in the basement. Wearing a face diaper. Right? Possible. You can make up numbers too. You can do whatever you can. Statistics of the study found unvaccinated drivers to be at 72% increased relative risk compared to those vaccinated. Symptoms of sleep apnea. Another one, I think, is the United States. I can't remember another study where this other one was. I don't remember. Several different studies they're slapping now. Said that they think even without these studies, and there's another study that I can't remember where this one came from. I'm sorry, I'm just tired and don't care. It's just, I care, but we want facts, but because we're factual people. But it said that they couldn't find a clear reason of why they said they couldn't find out why they think that there were higher accident rates of the non-jabberoos versus the jabberoos. And they said that non-jabberoos probably because they tend to be just non-caring and more free-flowing and not following rules. Well, there's got some truth in that. We don't take downloads and we don't want to be controlled by the system, but that's a little bit too BS that we aren't to harm anybody. I think it's other reasons. So that's what they use. They said you're looked as the troublemakers, the ones that don't conform to the bull crap of the beast system. See how you get targeted spiritually? So now they're going to start trying to tighten the screws. And there's a key word, I don't know if you see this, that tells you bear is considered a beast system. It bears, noting that the study only found a correlation between hesitancy and driving risk. Correlation does not mean causation. I studied with my MBA degree and also with computer information systems. I had taken a bunch of statistical analysis classes also for computers in business, that it was made very clear that we could prove that 92% of studies done when I was in college and at my master's level are bull crap, either by the sampling sizes or by the way that you could take two different people, and after the results were in, depending on how you want to run your statistical model, and you could hide and you could make one look like with a massive, like something was that prove your point that something was right. Another person could prove it was wrong. We did it all the time. You could use a bell curve. You could use statistical significance numbers, 92%, drop it to 80%. You could, sample size, say, well, exclude these or include these. And was it a double-blind placebo test? Was it, who did the data collection? I mean, my God. You could take every study out there and Miles just throw them out the trash, I discovered. You could. Every damn one of them. Because studies were ridiculous. There's no way. You can't prove anything with a study. I'm not kidding you. You could not. Let's not go there. So any study you read, well, X number of people, you might as well, it could be the area. Well, we studied, you don't know the geographic area. They said, we studied 1,000 people. They don't tell you their demographics. We studied 1,000 people, and what they don't tell you in here as well, that not only that they went and got a group of the sampling people were people who were on drugs. Even though they were non-jabberoos, that they were alcoholics. Had a behavior of multiple tickets for speeding already. Their behavior, because people are people, whether they've been jabberooed or not. So they get the samples. They said, well, we got a list of people here. Let's find out what's going on here. And I'm using an example. And these are people who tend to have been bucking things to begin with, one way or the other. You got the idea. It's all bull crap, folks. Never. And I came out of those statistical classes, and I said, geez, man, it is worthless to ever run a study. Even the professor, that was his key area. He said, man, it is worthless almost to run these things. He said, if you really want a true study, it's going to cost you millions. He said millions, because he said you have to have somebody that does research and background the people and review them and what's their income status and even medical. It can change what's their diet. If you say aspirin does this, he said, is there something that they're taking in association with the aspirin that when they combine the two, it causes the effect that it wasn't aspirin that makes a difference. It was a combination versus a placebo. that made a difference. He said there's so many variables that you trying to control them about be damn impossible unless you spent millions. And he said no company has a weapon, and that's the thing with side effects. How much money they spend on follow through? He said follow through. We come back 10 years later and see what happens. I know you don't want to know this, but they said they do with these follow throughs. That's why you find out later that we have some drugs that end up causing massive lawsuits because the size of the test market of that drug was small. They didn't know that it takes years to kill you. Certain drugs, right? It's impossible, folks. Impossible. Anyway, so you got that one. Now I got another little surprise for you. I know that just blows my damn mind. Let's go over to our friends in Australia. If you saw this one. You gotta be careful in this and that stuff. I'm talking like crap, but anyway. Look at this. Saw this today. Why are more people dying in Australia? Many questions remain. You know why? They put it right here. They tell you. It's not because of that. I'm not going to talk. Don't get banned too much. It has to do with the jabber jabberoo. Did you know that country was one of the hardest ones and pushed it harder than anybody else? Took the jabber jabberoo. I knew that then. I heard about people, even when it started, they had lockdown like you wouldn't believe in that country. People being arrested and thrown around just for holding up signs. And they pushed it harder than anybody. And we got another one up north of Canada. It is required for entry into that country to have jabber jabberooed. Required. My understanding, I haven't checked that one. But that's my understanding. I've heard it. In Australia, I don't know what the rules are there, but we know for a fact that they are stronger than anybody on this push. Unknown. Well, I know what it is. So do you. Why? Why? We know why. So, wow. But see how when the truth is right in front of these people's eyes, they hide it, bury it. They're right down the little dirt hole and cover it up. But when we can do allegations against us and others, they bring it right to the surface and make up stuff in the clouds. Pie in the sky crap. Anyway. Brother Raleigh asked me today, some others had been YouTube channels, at one point, and some of them said, no offense against Matt, he said he would fold. He said, I would, if I'm forced to be able to engage in society, to be able to work, be able to have a future with even friends and family, and he said have employment and things. He goes, I would actually conform. I'll tell you what and Brother Ellie said. He said he would too. He said, Kirk, I'd eventually conform because I want to be able to eat. If they started saying eat or this and that, or I won't have a home. You know what my answer is? Right there. Never. I will never conform. Ever. No way. I will never conform. He said, well, what happens if you get threatened and put in a jail or in prison for 20 years? Do it. Try it. Because I repeat, never. I don't care if I have to live out in the desert. You will never make me conform to that. Ever. Never, ever. My freedom to love my God, my Creator, and you, brothers and sisters, my friends, and to have a free life and free will and a free spirit, that's my God-given right. I will never, ever conform to that. Ever. So help me, our God. Because no way. And even said, who was it, remember? Give me liberty or give me death. And that's where I'm going to stand. You give me liberty or you give me death. Not better fighting words ever written in history. I will never get my liberty. Ever. No way. And that's taking away my liberty. So you might as well just give me death. God bless and love y'all.